Hey folks, it's Jake with Seattle Coffee Gear, and today we're going to be doing a crew comparison between two compact home espresso machines, the Delonghi Dedica EC685 and the Breville Bambino Pro, which is a Seattle Coffee Gear exclusive. We chose these two machines to do a comparison because they're two machines with some slightly different price points. The Delonghi is just a little less expensive, the Bambino is a little more expensive, and we know that a lot of customers and home users like to compare machines of this size, especially if you have like an apartment or more compact space. And I'm going to show you the differences between each of them and what you might like more about one or the other. So first, let's talk about portafilters. The Delonghi has a 51 millimeter pressurized only aluminum portafilter. So it comes with a double pressurized, a single pressurized, and also a pressurized ESE pod basket for the paper pods. And this is a lightweight portafilter compared to the Breville's because it is aluminum, but it still does a great job. It is a little bit smaller and a little bit deeper than the Breville's, but otherwise there are plenty of 51 millimeter accessories to find out there. This comes with a tamper that comes on the back of the scoop. It is 51 millimeters. A little bit awkward to use, but you can find plenty of aftermarket ones available. The Breville, the Bambino Pro, actually comes with two sets of portafilters. It comes with the standard low-profile portafilter that comes with the Bambino Plus, and this has a single and double pressurized basket. And then it also comes with Breville's standard spouted 54 millimeter portafilter, which has a double non-pressurized basket. And we do have a few videos out there about what the difference between pressurized and non-pressurized baskets are. I suggest you check those out because they're super informative and will give you a little bit more depth on the differences. Now let's talk about the machines themselves. So the Delonghi, it's a little bit more narrow, a little bit more compact than the Bambino. It has a Panarello steam system instead of the standard steam one that the Bambino does. What a Panarello is a attachment that goes over a steam wand, and it allows air to be drawn into the milk, and it gives you really simple, really easy milk frothing. It might not give you that latte art quality milk that you're looking for, but it does deliver milk with a great mouthfeel, and it still makes a delicious latte nonetheless. The Delonghi Dedica Deluxe, which is the 685, has a new attachment which allows you to switch between hot milk and a cappuccino. Just by sliding this up or down, it just pulls more or less milk, or excuse me, more or less air into the milk. In comparison, the Bambino has more of a standard steam wand, and there's something a little bit special about the Bambino steam wand that I really like. Down here, there's a little temperature sensor, and when you have a frothing pitcher that sits on there, the Bambino can actually detect the temperature of the milk in your pitcher. And with the air pump that's inside the machine, it can actually integrate air and automatically steam and stop steaming when you have the milk pitcher sitting on there. And when you want to have automatic milk steaming, you just lower this arm. There's 3 selectable temperatures and 3 selectable froth levels with the automatic milk steaming, or you're also welcome to just lift that and you're going to be doing manual steaming like you would on any other traditional steam wand. And the other things about these machines are the new to the Dedica Deluxe is that you can actually pull out the drip tray, and underneath there's a smaller metal grate inside of here, and it allows you to sit a taller cup, something like a cortado glass or a latte glass on here, and get a little couple more inches of cup clearance, which is really, really nice. The Bambino's drip tray doesn't have anything like that, but they do both have float sensors in them to detect when they're full. The Dedica's is really small. You probably won't be emptying it out too much, but the Bambino, because it has a 3-way solenoid valve in there to release back pressure, you will be needing to empty this out every so often, every 5-10 shots, depends on the exact number of shots that you're pulling. And the Delonghi, the Dedica, it has a 34-ounce water tank here, which is plenty big enough for an espresso machine, but it's not the biggest water tank you've ever seen. It goes, you can get a couple days of daily usage out of here, maybe 4 or 5 days, but it isn't the largest water tank out there, but it does match the compact size of the machine. And the Bambino's water tank is actually much larger. It's 64 ounces, so it's almost double the size of the Delonghi's, and you are going to be getting more uses out of this before having to refill. If you have this underneath a countertop or against a wall, it's a really nice feature to just have a lot more water in that tank. And these are both programmable machines. So what that means is that you can program your shot, but they do this a little bit differently. The Delonghi Dedica does this by time. So you push and hold either of the single shot or double shot button and tell the amount of time that you'd like to have your shot pulled has elapsed. Typically for a double shot or a single shot, we'd recommend 25 to 30 seconds for that ideal shot. And with the pressurized basket, along with this time-based programming, it's really easy to get your shot nailed down every single time. The Bambino's is actually volumetric. It runs by volume instead of time. So you're going to need to dial in your shot to get that time dialed in, but you can adjust the single or double cup button by volume. So if you want 60 milliliters or just about 2 ounces out, you'd push and hold each, and then you'd be getting 2 ounces out. And then the time would be up to your coffee preparation, grind, dose, tamp, things like that. And the temperature on the Dedica is adjustable. You can go into the settings menu by pressing and holding the steam button, and then you click the 1 cup button, and it will give you 3 temperature options to go for. There's low, medium, or high. The Bambino does not have adjustable temperature, but it is PID controlled temperature, so it does get pretty accurate when it comes to temperature control. It just doesn't have the adjustability that the Delonghi has. In our tests, we've noted that both tend to have pretty good espresso temperature. We like the high setting on this the most, especially when dialing in something more like a medium roast or something a little lighter than your dark roast, but it is nice to have adjustable temperatures nonetheless. And now that we've gone over these machines, we're going to go ahead and grab some milk, grab some glasses, and go ahead and start brewing for you. All right, folks, we're back, and now we grab some milk. We've got some clean glasses, some clean shot pitchers, so we're ready to go ahead and pull some shots. I'm going to start with the Dedica first, and for the Dedica, I'm going to be doing steaming first, so I'm going to let the machine warm up into steam mode. You just click the steam button. It takes about 45 seconds until it's ready, and it will let you know when it's ready once the steam light has gone solid. We've already let this warm up for a little bit, so it took a little bit shorter time than if it was cold, but now it's solid and now it's ready to go. So because I'm going to be making a latte today, I am going to pull the Panarello down towards cappuccino because I do want a little bit more milk foam on that. I do like my drinks with a little more milk foam, which is nice to have that adjustability. The steam arm is on a swivel, which is really nice if you have a larger shot pitcher or a smaller frothing pitcher. It just gives you a little bit more angle to work with. And for a Panarello steam arm, what you're going to want to do is just submerge your milk, turn on the steam, and let it go. You just need to swirl your milk around a little bit while you're moving. But otherwise, most of it is pretty automatic. And I typically just go, it is a thermoblock, so you can steam basically as long as you like. I just go until I can feel the milk getting just too hot to the touch for my hand here under the frothing pitcher. It's about a minute usually for me on this machine. And you can hear that thermoblock kicking. That's the water actually hitting the really hot metal in the thermoblock, which is why you can get unlimited steam. It is just the pump kicking a little bit of water onto that block. And that looks really good there. It's just about too hot, so we're good to go. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe down this Panarello, just make sure there aren't any major drips. And then once you're done with the Panarello, it's going to be a little too hot for me to pull off right now, but once you're done with it, you can actually pull this off, rinse it out in the sink, and then just give the inner tube a little wipe, and you're good to go. And that milk looks really good, quite frothy, and it's looking great for a latte. So I'm going to start with the coffee preparation. So with the pressurized baskets, I am going to be using the Note today, but with that, I'm going to be grinding a little bit coarser than I would be for the Bambino. So I'm going to go ahead and start grinding, and then I'm going to make an adjustment once I start grinding for the Bambino. looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and tamp this. Again, the coffee scoop is the tamper as well. It's a little bit awkward to use at first, but you'll get used to it quickly, and there are plenty of other 51mm tampers available on the market. We are good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and lock in the portafilter just until it's tight. With both these machines, because they are so compact, a little bit of bracing is probably needed on each one just to make sure when you're locking in the portafilter that everything's stable. And then I'm going to actually do a manual shot today. I want to time the shot and go from there. So I'm going to push and hold the 2-cup button, and away we go. So there was a pre-infusion phase, even in the manual shot, as you could hear. And I'm actually looking for on this coffee about 25 seconds. So I'm going to stop it a little earlier than it probably would. So yeah. And that's looking good right about there. So we are all set. I've got my milk all ready to go. Just going to give it a little swirl to make sure everything is nice and integrated. And we're going to go ahead and pour that. And then I am just going to try the espresso temperature just to see how it is. Yeah, that's plenty hot enough. It's definitely a nice hot shot. And I'm no latte art expert, so bear with me, folks. Sometimes you get nothing, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste, and we're going to go. Yeah, that's a fantastic latte. It's just really balanced. The shot pulled perfectly, and the milk is nice and hot, pretty foamy. Yeah, that's really excellent. So now I'm going to compare that to the Bambino. I'm going to start a shot on the Bambino here, as I set everything aside. So we're going to go ahead and let this warm up. The Bambino only takes 3 seconds to warm up. It's really quick. It's a really quick thermoblock system. But for the steaming, it does take a little bit longer to warm up, about a minute, just like the Delonghi. So I have another milk pitcher here, and I'm actually going to set my steam in the automatic mode. So I'm going to go and push that steam on down. The lights come up to show you the adjustability options that you have. And so you can go high temperature, low temperature, medium temperature, high froth, low froth, medium froth. I like medium on both. I think that's the best balance of everything. And so I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. And you just push this down. Make sure, always make sure that your frothing pitcher is on the temperature sensor. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. It's never going to stop, and you're going to get milk overflow. We've seen that a lot from customers before, but the problem is that you really do need that frothing pitcher on top of the temp sensor. So I'm just going to go ahead and push the steam button. You're going to hear the thermoblock on this one as well. And the nice thing about this steaming system is it is so hands-off. You really don't need to do anything with it. With the Panarello, you're still holding the pitcher, but this one goes temperature and foam amount with that air pump automatically. And we're all set. The lights are all solid now, so your milk is done steaming and it is hot. So really important with the Bambino steam one is to wipe it down as soon as you are done to make sure that nothing gets stuck on there, just like with any traditional steam wand. And once you put this down, it's actually going to give you a nice cleaning spritz of water right there, which is really nice to make sure everything's nice and clean. And there we go. You have a clean steam wand. I'm just going to give it another wipe down just to make sure, because burnt milk is nobody's friend. And now I'm going to wipe the drip tray, and we are good to go to pull our shot. So I'm going to be using the low profile pressure, the low profile with the non-pressurized basket. You can switch the pressurized or non-pressurized baskets within either of these portafilters. If you have a taller cup, the low profile design of this one is a lot easier to fit things under. But if you like the spouted, if you're splitting shots, you can also split shots on the low profile, of course, but the spouted is just another option for you to have. And that's the thing about the Bambino. It gives you so many options to use with manual automatic steaming, pressurized or non-pressurized baskets. So I'm going to go ahead and get grinding on the note over here. That's looking good. So the Bambino comes with its own tamper, a 54mm tamper. We're all set. So like the Delonghi, you're going to want to brace your hand. It just makes it so much easier to lock this into the group head. And grab my shot pitcher. And 2-cup button for a double shot. All right. So we have our shot here. I'll pour it into this glass. And I'm going to do another temperature test on this just to see what the temperature of the espresso alone is. So it's probably a little bit cooler than the Delonghi. Just a little bit though. This one almost burnt my mouth. This one is just at the threshold of burning my mouth, so I'd say just a touch cooler on the Bambino. And I've got my milk all ready to go here. Give it a swirl, make sure it's nice and smooth. And I will say that the Bambino's milk texture, I don't know if you can see this, but it is significantly better than the Delonghi's milk texture. The bubbles in this are quite large. It's what you'd expect out of a Panarello system. But these are pretty close to true microfoam like you'd be getting off of any traditional steam wand. And the fact that it's automatic and on such a compact little machine is pretty great. So I do like this foam texture better. It's looking like a lot like wet paint, which is what you want. So I'm going to pour a latte with this. Still no latte art. Sorry, folks. But we're going to go ahead and give it a taste, see how it goes. So the milk temperature is definitely hotter. I only had it on the medium setting, but it is definitely hotter. That's probably a lot to do with how long I steamed this milk. It's no fault of the Dedica. You can steam for as long as you want on this, but it was getting just a little bit too hot for me to hold. So overall, the drink temperature is a little bit hotter because that milk is so hot, which I do enjoy. But yeah, a really nice latte, but both are really great lattes. And both are really great machines. You know, they fit into most any space. They fit into small apartments, on any counter, basically, offices, anything. They're really great. And there's the customizability and the options that you have with the pressurized, non-pressurized baskets, automatic or manual steaming on the Bambino, or there's just the simplicity and just the pressurized baskets the Panarello system, and just a more compact form factor. So I think they're both great machines, and I hope this was an informative video for you. And like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.